A welcome Wednesday to you folks on the Central Coast, as they'd say in the Midwest. A balmy 40-something degrees. Oh, we had the Olympian Paul Tarek in studio last week. Tough to make it 2 weeks in a row. I'm Rex Stevens here each and every week. Got a first-time guest to this show of Living the Run, and chiropractor up in the Bay Area, fellow compadre. Great to have you in studio, Matt Smith.
Hey, Rex. It's great to be here, man. Good to be with you.
Great to share with the Central Coast. You know, it's good to be down here. And, one of the things that we love about this show, each and every week, we talk health and fitness, and it's easy to do here on the Central Coast. We go out there today, 1:30, sun is shining, and although it's a little colder for us here, Midwest is hating it. Got message from Kenosha, Wisconsin, one of my best friends out there, -12. Buddy in Minnesota, -10. We're not dealing with any of that kind of stuff. We have no reason to complain, no reason to get out there, still move, get your mobility in, maybe dress slightly different, but love working out here on the Central Coast.
Absolutely, man. It's great out there right now. Definitely a more positive situation than the Midwest.
Positive, to put it lightly.
It's been fantastic to be able to go outside mid-December, cruise around on the longboard, maybe hit the water, get in the ocean a little bit if you can, if you dare. Get that wetsuit on, get out there. But
gloves and hoodies, right?
Got to get the booties on.
The booties. Oh, need the booties, but there's no excuse not to move. Let me tell you, I'm excited about tonight's show. If it's the first time joining us, we meet here each and every week just after 6 bells, 6 to 7 o'clock every Wednesday night. We talk health and fitness. We live the run. Folks, if you want to follow us on livingtherun.com, feel free to do that. Follow us on facebook.com/livingtherun as well to pick up the podcast from the week before. Let me tell you, last week was a great, great show. We had Karen Adelot in, lost her leg in her mid-50s. She had won at Kona Ironman before with 2 legs. She lost the leg. She's come back. She competed in Kona again this last year. She's in her 60s now and competing at a high level. She also finished the Ironman in Arizona. Compelling story. I heard from a lot of you out there that it was one of those ones that you come home, you stop the car, but you don't get out until that interview's done. So if you missed any of that one, always check out our old podcast. Tonight, I tell you, excited about tonight's show. Last year, one of our best shows we had, former student of mine, and actually was a coach of yours, Matt, at football up in the Bay Area at the Kings Academy up there.
No, we played together.
Oh, together as well. I think he thought he coached you for a while. No, actually played on the same team. Anyway, we'll have to clear that up with Taylor Hoyt. Taylor was a great guest as we come into the Christmas time. One of the things we see all the time is people getting more video games, more computers, and more things that keep them sedentary, especially the children. And, one of the things we got to get after is our kids, get them up and moving. And Taylor shed some good light last year on where the industry is going, technology industry is going with some of the active games. When I had those kids at the Kings Academy, they were playing Dance Dance Revolution all day long in my classroom during recess and lunch. But we're going to find out what is on the horizon there. You're a kid. You're a little younger than me. You got a decade younger than me. Games changed a ton just in a decade, and then even more so now. What was it like for you as a kid? What were some of the trends you started to notice among your peers with regards to gaming?
Oh, yeah. Rex, gaming has become such a huge part of our society. And throughout my childhood, I tried so hard to fit in and get into gaming, but failed to succeed at that so many different times. I found myself buying these video game consoles and then not using them and selling them within a couple months. I just could never get into gaming, but I've watched a lot of my buddies kind of get into gaming, and I think that the direction that the gaming industry is going is fantastic, in that things are getting a little bit more interactive. People are moving a little bit more. You're not sitting there holding a controller quite as much. And I think that that'll play a huge role in the fight against obesity and diabetes and a lot of these chronic issues that we see. I definitely think that that's the right direction for the gaming industry.
Yeah, I think so too. Look forward to talking to Taylor. We'll talk to him in about 5 minutes. Also on the show tonight, if you haven't gotten a chance and you don't know him, he's right here in the community. Sports director over at the YMCA, Jerome Jones. He wrote a pretty neat children's book. I got a copy of it about a year ago, Mystery of the Lost Recipe. And, the book kind of touches on some very nice health topics. Not so much food as much as how do we take stressors and deal with them best. And it's kind of a neat little story about a guy who runs a restaurant. He loses a kind of a main recipe to kind of a signature dish at the restaurant, and the kids are little detectives, and they get to kind of figure out where did this recipe go. But one of the things they notice is the owner of the restaurant who's lost this recipe, one of the things he does to deal with this stress, he goes out and surfs. It takes place right here in Pismo Beach, and the kids kind of go to him and kind of talk to him a little bit about, hey, what are you out here surfing for when you know that recipe's gone? What can you do? And he talks about how he could clear his head out surfing, and he might be able to be a little bit more acute in his memory to know where he might have lost that recipe. Something that's very, very tough for us, and we see this all the time with patients, right, is that when the stressors come, the mind gets clogged, and now all of a sudden almost paralysis takes place. Yeah. And we just don't make maybe the right health decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just like in that story, it's a really important thing to kind of detach yourself from some of the cluttered situations that you can find yourselves in, especially, our world moves so fast and there are so many different stressors and stimulants in our world that sometimes you just need to go out and be by yourself. And, since I've been down here in San Luis Obispo, I've actually taken up a little bit of surfing myself, and that's been such an incredible experience, something that I've really come to cherish as I've been down here, just those moments alone in the water. It really allows you to kind of think through situations and work through things in your own mind and take away some of the noise in your life, for sure.
Yeah, no question. So those guys, great guests, Taylor Hoyt, Jerome Jones, in just a little while. Hey, as always, each and every week, we have this brought to you by Art Cyclery. Check the guys out at artcyclery.com. When it comes to cycling, there's nobody like it. Saw one of the owners today, Eric Benson, all dressed up nicely, nice and warm for his cycling ride. I see him each and every Wednesday morning taking off with the group. But when it comes down to great deals, I get it. You can get on the internet and you can find great deals. Arts is right there, competitive. But what Arts does for you is it gives you that personal touch. When you go in to talk to Eric Benson, Scott Smith, any of the guys, getting you in the right position, and you and I think about it a lot with some of the patients we see, mechanics. It's unbelievable how you can get so inefficient on a bike very, very quickly by just being in the wrong spot. Guys at Art Cyclery are the top dogs in this community. They sponsor something on this show called The Blood Boiler, and each and every week, Matt, we talk about what did we do this day to get our blood to boil a little bit. Something that took that heart rate up a little bit, got those red blood cells moving a little bit, got oxygenation to the tissues, helped all systems, immune, brain, heart, you name it. We talk about the blood boiler. We missed you today. We often see you on Wednesdays since you've been back. I'll give you what Sandy and I did. Sandy and I took a little jog. We put in about 2-3 miles, kind of ran up Cal Poly's campus, jogged around a little bit, wanted to take a quick view over at the Cal Poly orchard. They got the Satsuma oranges as well as a few other citrus varieties ready to go. You can pick those things up, I believe, on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. They got different times. Go over there and pick.
Oh, yeah.
If you got kids, go take them. If you don't, no worries. Go grab some of those great snacks to have. You can juice them down. Phenomenal stuff over there at Cal Poly. Ran up there, and then we ran back to the stadium. Stadium's open a little bit right now. We were able to run some bleachers there. Got 20 bleachers in, and then an awesome employee of ours. You know her, Jackie Fair. She just finished a Spartan run this last weekend down south. For every obstacle they couldn't get over, they were supposed to have to do 30 burpees. I don't know how it worked, but she had a couple that she kind of half got, half didn't, so she only had 20 burpees to do. Sandy and I told her we'd do all the burpees for whatever she didn't get in the obstacles, so we only had 20 to do. So we hit 20 burpees as well as those 20 bleachers, and then we came back. Blood was boiling today. Definitely blood was boiling. What'd you do today, Matt?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a good workout without me. I was actually out by Bishop's Peak bombing down some hills on a longboard all day today. It just took a few hours to get outside. It was a little too chilly to go out in the water, and so I definitely hopped on the longboard and was kind of riding around, hitting some hills. Definitely got the heart rate up a little bit as I was weaving in and out of near-death experiences, but it was a good time. Definitely got me out in the open and moving the right way. So
yeah, no question. Some of this stuff too is you just got to move, and part of that movement is getting yourself in a position that allows your mind to just change and to just shift gears. And certainly being on a longboard, you shift gears. certainly once our heart rate started getting up, I was telling Sandy about number 15 on those stairs, it started to, you started to realize that you're alive a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And
things get a little spicy.
They get a little spicy, but a good time for sure. Hey, we got Taylor Hoyt coming up next. You're not going to want to miss this because those of you that are buying games for your kids, buying games for yourself, Christmas time, we get a lot of little input from Taylor. He's definitely one of those kids, that I say kid because I had him, when he was 13, but, now a young man that gets the technology industry, gets what's going on there, and I think can give us some tips as we're going forward on maybe some positive things that we might be able to buy for our kids for that Christmas time and something that can keep them up and moving, not getting them too stagnant. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. A guy came into me and he said, I'm working with my 13-year-old. I got to get him back into shape. And first thought that went in my head, how could a 13-year-old be out of shape? It just doesn't seem to make any sense, right? But that tends to be more the norm that we're seeing.
Yeah.
In today's society, and definitely we want to use every little thing we can. If we can use the gaming industry to help us a little bit, so be it. Don't forget Jerome Jones. Then after that, we're going to talk a little mystery of the lost recipe. Awesome show tonight. Again, Rex Stevens, Matt Smith in studio. This is Living the Run. Stick with us.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Hey everyone, Eric Fiallo here from leftlanesports.com. Are you tired of paying full retail on your favorite outdoor and endurance brands? Well, whether you run, bike, swim, hike, climb, or surf, leftlanesports.com has got you covered. Save 50 to 70% off retail every day on brands like Under Armour, Asics, New Balance, Timex, Hurley, Patagonia, and more. Visit leftlanesports.com and sign up for a free membership. Plus, save on shipping by picking up your order at our headquarters in San Luis Obispo. leftlanesports.com. Gear you need, prices you want, service you deserve.
Hey, this is Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident. Gardens by Gabriel is hands down my top pick for landscapers in San Luis Obispo County. Gardens by Gabriel is honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot. He's able to add his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem that I live in. His crew is phenomenal. Their passion truly transformed my beautiful front yard. Dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
This is Scott from Arts Cyclery. This year, Arts has the largest selection of kids' bikes on the Central Coast. Let us take the stress out of your holidays by offering a layaway and a convenient purchase bike storage solution, where we store the bike until Santa picks it up for the big day. Grown-ups, we have an awesome selection of bikes and accessories for you too. Come in now until December 24th and spin the wheel of deals and take up to 30% off your purchase. Huge selection, friendly staff, and low prices at Arts Cyclery, 181 Suburban Road, San Luis Obispo.
We're back with Living the Run.
Get texts on that old word spicy. I like that description. We often talk about that myofascial release, right? And you get in, you use a foam roller, you use a lacrosse ball, use a tennis ball, and I kind of been using that, lately. Is this, you find the spicy spot.
Absolutely. Great term.
It gives people a little smile too. You say, hey, find that painful spot, find the spot that hurts. Just a reminder of pain, just a reminder of hurt. And again, you never really get much of a fun reaction, out of that.
Spicy's all inclusive.
Oh, gosh. Don't forget, guys, one of our great sponsors in this show, Team Swayze, the realtor Hal Swayze, by far the best in the area. You know, Hal does more sales, more transactions than anyone around. And one of the reasons is he is as active as it comes. Guy's surfing, playing tennis. He's working out. He's up early, standing desk. Guy moves. Brain is on fire, just ready to roll. And, whether it's your first home, dream home, or an investment property, call Hal Swayze at teamswayze.com. Call him, or check him out online, teamswayze.com, or call him 805-781-3750. I tell you, the Slow Late Show comes on. You met Alex, and 10 to midnight. A guy sends in a text, hey, does playing NBA 2K count as interactive? My guess with that guy is no way. Hey, let me tell you, one of the best shows we ever had, and I'll say it again, one of my favorite guests of all time, and one of the favorite students. I lasted a whole 2 years as a science teacher in junior high, but one of my favorite students of all time, Taylor Hoyt. Great day to have Taylor Hoyt come in studio with us. Taylor, what's going on? Give me some Taylor Hoyt. Matt Smith, this is not usually what happens. Actually, sometimes it is what happens on
Where's
this
this guy?
show. Where is this guy? Taylor, are you there?
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is. We had a producer for a long time, Max Woodcock. He'd be, I think Max rolling over his grave up there in Portland, just thinking that we can do this show by ourselves without anybody. Taylor, well, as always, great to have you in studio, or have you on the phone. Always great to talk to you from the studio. Man, technology, gaming, where are we going 2013 into 2014?
Oh, boy. This is the perfect time to talk about this because as far as game stuff goes, the new consoles just launched. So Microsoft just released their Xbox One, PlayStation, or Sony just released their PlayStation 4. So these things are selling like hotcakes. They're like the best-selling video game console of all time, or at least at launch. So hard to keep in stores. People are excited to get them. And, of course, there's always some kind of motion control functionality for people to like to get up and move around.
Well, that's always my concern. We get way too much sitting in this society. We're pulling PE from the schools. We're pulling anything that gets kids up, shop class, wood shop, metal shop, anything that gets kids up, using their hands, getting them active, getting their hearts rolling, or as we say, getting the blood to boil. What's on the horizon? Because I'm telling you, man, my visions are of you guys, lunchtime recess, sweating it up in a competition at Dance Dance Revolution, but it seems as though the interactive games haven't exponentially increased at the level we'd love to see with regards to that game. It seemed like so many great things were on the horizon. We've kind of gone dud since. What's on the horizon there to keep our kids moving, keep them stimulated, keep their weight down, and keep their brain kind of normalized as well, so attention spans get better and their overall health is better?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to help attention spans necessarily, but
way to be honest, Taylor.
Just keeping it real. But so as far as new advanced technology goes, in Microsoft's new Xbox One, each console comes packed with this thing called the Kinect, which is like a motion sensing camera. And the Xbox 360, the last one that Microsoft put out, had one, but it was more or less like a beta test thing. It didn't really work very well. But this new one, I don't know the specific details of exactly what it can measure, but I believe it can measure your heart rate. It can sense your skeletal system. It can measure crazy amounts of stuff. So right at launch, this thing literally came out not even a month ago. There's a few kind of dance games, but gosh, this thing has some amazing potential as far as fitness games go, because it can track your body a lot better. And it can read your heart rate. It can probably track your progress as far as fitness stuff goes. And same with the PlayStation. It's not quite as advanced, but it has its own kind of camera motion sensing technology that it comes built with. And all the controllers also have these motion bars, so it kind of forces you maybe not to get up, but at least wave it around. There's a game that comes built in where it sort of spawns these little fake robots you can get up and throw them around and stuff. It's pretty fun. So there's more cool potential than there is actual stuff right now.
Again, talking to Taylor Hoyt, my gaming guru from the Bay Area. Hey, let me just ask you this: top 3 things parents could be looking at for their kids. I mean, is it systems that they look at right now, or is it games? I'm having trouble following. I mean, if somebody could get something now, is there a great game still set up, or is it, again, more a system that people need to look at getting to get their kids moving at home?
To get them moving, I mean, there's always a game that comes out pretty much every year called Just Dance, which will have, the latest, typically like pop music or dance music. So, and they're always motion games. So no matter what system you have, you could probably get it on, and it'll probably be better on these new consoles, but they're going to be expensive. I mean, PlayStation 4 is $400, Xbox One is $500. So unless you really want to, shell out the money, you could probably get it on whatever you have now.
No, Taylor, tell me this. From a standpoint of playing these games, could one thing kids do? We talk about it a lot on this show of just your average office person sitting there. We try to get them up. We try to get people creating standing desks. Can virtually all these games be played standing as well? Is it something parents could encourage their children to do, to say, hey, play this game standing rather than sitting, even if it's a kind of sit-down game? I'm assuming, Alex from the Slow Late Show airs 10 to midnight here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. He calls in, this playing NBA 2K count as interactive? I'm imagining, and he's throwing out some sarcasm there that it's a sit-down game, but can these games be played standing up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of, especially for like PC games, like if you play your games on PC, which, I think NBA 2K is on, like you said, you got your standing desk, so you could just, put a game on your PC and do it that way. And it's not like, most of the controllers now are wireless, so you could be up and moving around, and you don't even have to be just standing. So there's definitely a lot of room for different ways. You definitely don't have to just sit down and play them now.
Hey, Taylor, this is Matt Smith, flashback from the glory days at King's Academy.
What's going on, Matt?
How you doing, man?
Hey, the talk, Taylor, is Matt's not thinking that you were his coach so much that actually you guys played together.
Oh, buddy.
Was it that memorable?
I was there when you dislocated your shoulder.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you played with us in the last game of the season when we were crushing a team, and they're like, all right, let's put the JV guys in, and I think you had like a really big run, and we're like, yeah, it's over. Let's just keep those guys in.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus. I appreciate that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you were a stud. I think you were the first guy in our school to rush for 1,000 yards. So
that may or may not be true.
I'm pretty sure it was true. I remember I was on the sideline with Tito. We're like, let's make sure he's got it, keep him in there, coach. So I'm pretty sure you were.
Those were the days. But I vividly remember you kind of throwing that shoulder out and having to do some Jurassic stuff on the sidelines. That was an incredible game
to get that thing to fall back in the socket.
That was amazing. But Taylor, I just wanted to ask. You said that there's a lot of opportunity for growth in the interactive gaming world. I just want to know, how do you see things progressing, and where do you see movement-based gaming and interactive gaming going? Do you see? Is there anything in particular that you have in mind, or that you see coming? What do we have to look forward to in that sense?
Gosh, I feel like as far as fitness stuff goes, it's probably going to come from what we like to call indie developers. They're usually smaller teams, anywhere between literally 2 to maybe 10 people. They had some interesting experiments a couple of years ago. There was this game called Baller Beats where it used the motion camera and a basketball, and so you would sort of bounce the ball, track the ball with the camera. And it wasn't very successful, but it was kind of like, all right, at least people are trying stuff. And now that this new Kinect has it can track all kinds of your pulse and your all kinds of stuff, I feel like somebody's going to get creative, and it's probably going to be a smaller team. And once they're able to crack that, it's going to be like, wow, I got to go out and get that thing.
Yeah.
So it might not be this year or next, but I feel like somebody's going to get crazy. Like, all right, let's see what we can do with this thing, and it'll be really exciting.
Yeah, it seems like, our society has such a fascination with data and landmarks, and so having all these biomarkers now, I think will be such a really good thing in terms of progressing movement and exercise-based games. I think that's going to be huge.
Hey, Taylor. Hey, Taylor, as always, man, phenomenal to have you talking to us.
Yes.
With Living the Run. Always a great day to have Taylor Hoyt in. Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for sharing with the guests here on Living the Run.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Good to talk to you, Matt. Good to talk to you, Rex.
Good to talk to you.
We'll be happy to come on again and whenever you guys want.
Hey, next Christmas, man, I'm sure there'll be something new on the horizon.
Absolutely.
All right. Taylor Hoyt, love that kid. I loved teaching those guys. He was just telling me he's with Brian Lynn, too. He's one of my favorite guys. He was the only other Charger fan, I think, that existed in the Bay Area, like myself. So Brian and I suffered together every Monday morning after another Charger loss when I was up there.
It's a tough life.
It was a tough life. Guys, Jerome Jones next, your YMCA sports director, great guy, wrote a children's book, Mystery of the Lost Recipe. Really, really fun book, going from games to books, things you can put in your children's stockings or under the Christmas tree. All good stuff here on Living the Run, ESPN 1280, The Ticket.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Did you know that many people endure aches and pains in their feet, legs, and back, but few recognize the solution for some of the more common causes are as simple as a more supportive and comfortable insole? At Cadence Insoles, we understand the insole in your shoe provides the first line of support and comfort for your feet. Designed by physical therapists and recommended by podiatrists, Cadence insoles provide the elusive combination of orthotic support with the shock-absorbing comfort of an insole. A local business? Visit cadenceinsoles.com for more information. Cadence Insoles. Support made comfortable.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your hair cut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
We're back with Living the Run.
Gear you need, prices you want, service you deserve. Left Lane Sports, guys. It's coming Christmas time. LeftLaneSports.com. You want the best deals on the greatest gear, all the name brand stuff. You like things like 70% off? Go to LeftLaneSports.com. You won't be sorry. Speaking of Christmas gifts, in studio now, again, Rex Stevens, Matt Smith, and author. See, I think a lot of people didn't know this about you, Jerome. They know you as the YMCA guy, the guy that's kind of running the basketball season now, youth basketball, former radio guy. But most importantly tonight, we're going to talk about your children's book, Mystery of the Lost Recipe. Jerome Jones, illustrated by, I don't even want to say the last name, Jose Galliano. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Yeah, good. Close.
That's close enough.
Close enough. I love this book, in so many ways. I've been reading it now for about a year to my kids, and some excellent things. But kind of take us through how you came up with this, deciding to write a kid's book, and how this whole thing transpired. Again, book takes place in Pismo Beach, a little town called Pismo Beach. Maybe somebody's heard of it here in the Central Coast. Talk about the book.
Thank you for having me on, by the way.
Hey, no problem.
So the book came along when I used to be a school teacher. I was teaching fourth graders about nutrition and fitness, and then I went to the library to find a book to read to the kids about fitness and nutrition, and there was no such thing. So I found a need, and then I wrote the book, kind of sketched it out in 30 minutes, and kind of read it to my kids for feedback. They liked it, and then that was in 2008, and then 2008 to 2011, I edited it, worked on it, got an illustrator, and then I published it in 2012. So it was a lot of work because I don't have any marketing business behind me or a big, huge publishing company behind me, so I'm basically a one-man show. But it's great. It promotes nutrition. It promotes working together. It takes place in a small town called Pismo. And a lot of kids, when I was teaching, I grew up in this area, but when I was teaching school, I was teaching out of state. And when you teach out of state, in the Midwest, in the mountains of Utah and Colorado, in that area, if you tell little kids that you're from California, there's two things that they care about. First, did you live by the beach? Second, how many times have you been to Disneyland? That's basically what they care about. So
all they care about.
Yeah, so I try to promote the beach in this book as much as possible, and there's some surfing involved, and there's a mystery about it. So it's a cool book, and kids like it, and kids like the storyline with it too.
No question. I got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and even them, we just got back from Hawaii, and they even start to sense the difference between, we were talking a little earlier, surfing in the cold versus being in the water in the warm. It only took my son one day being back from Hawaii, riding the bike to school. I want to move back to Hawaii. It's always warm there. It's too cold here. Not dying to get in the water, but you're right. They love the beach. They love the water. They love the ocean. Again, the book is The Mystery of the Lost Recipe. You can buy this thing anywhere, of course, Amazon.com. You had Healthy Kids Publishing. I guess you can go healthykidspublishing.com. Pretty much anybody that sells books online, right, you can buy this thing?
Yeah, you can buy it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. The publishing company is mascotbooks.com, and it's a small publishing company back east, and they sell my book for me. And then we have we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we have a little small Instagram account too. So just add us on Facebook. Just go on Facebook and just type in The Mystery of the Last Recipe. You find it. We do have a special going on right now. So if you go to mascotbooks.com, find my book, put in your shopping cart, and type in a fall sale in the coupon code, you save 20%.
Oh, great.
So it's a great Christmas present.
20% off. It's a great Christmas present. We always need more books to read. The illustrations are great. I tell you, the writing, what I loved about the writing is the piece that dealt with stress a little bit. And, as these kids are trying to discover where the recipe went, they're trying to help out Mr. Nutt, who's the owner of the the restaurant there, and they're trying to find that recipe. They finally find it. And one of the questions that little Tommy asked, and I love this, he says, Mr. Nutt, why were you surfing when you knew your lasagna recipe was missing? And I think it's one of those things, and we talked about it a little earlier, is so oftentimes the stressors get high. He's lost his main recipe to his restaurant. They're worried, hey, what's going to happen with the customers? Are they going to be unhappy? Are we going to be able to serve dinner? Are we going to make money? All the stressors start to add up. And, he was pretty smart. He knew in his life what helped him de-stress. And that de-stress was get out to the surf, get out to the ocean, get out to the water. And, to me, a very brilliant part of the book. I enjoy that part of the book.
Absolutely.
My kids like that. And I think it's kind of a classic question from a kid, too, is this, why aren't you looking for it?
Yeah.
What are you doing out there riding that wave? And he said there, man, the waves help me, right?
Yeah. It's de-stress. When you're stressed out, you got to go exercise. You got to go have fun. You got to think about something else. So you went out and surfed, and the kids, and the great thing is at the end of the story, he teaches the kids how to surf.
Yeah.
That's the great part about it.
Yeah, even better. He says, hey, it helps me relax. And the kids kind of go, hey, sounds kind of good too. Can you help us? And they loved watching him. And that's what kids do, right, is they watch what we do and then they kind of want to try to mimic it. And neat book. Again, The Mystery of the Lost Recipe, written by Jerome Jones. Get this book for your kids. It's very fun. Again, the illustrations are super good. The writing is wonderful. Great little story. Kids love to be detectives, and the reality is, I don't know about your home, but I know my home. We tend to misplace things every once in a while, and so a lot of reality in this book.
There's a couple of reviews that I have. So if you go to mascotbooks.com/mystery recipe, there's actually a couple of reviews. There's actually a review from a dad, and he basically reviewed what you just stated right there. And then there's another review from somebody that works for a wellness center, and they enjoyed it too. And it's interesting to read that book to kids. I've been in elementary schools around here, and they love it. First of all, they love the pictures, and then they love the storyline, and then they always ask me interesting questions. How do you come up with the concept, and are you going to write another one? Is this going to be a big series? Are you making a lot of money off of this? Oh, you're famous. I know a famous person. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see the kids smile and have a good time.
It is, and there's other health aspects of it. You talk a little nutrition. We talk some different things. You got the kids on their bikes, moving. It's a really, really good thing. Kids aren't sitting in this book. No. They're active. They're ready to go, and their minds are engaged. Their bodies are engaged. Great health book, but just a fun book all the way around. Mystery of the Lost Recipe takes place in Pismo Beach. Jerome Jones, again, thanks for coming in. Most of you guys, again, you know this guy. If your kids play at the Y in any sport, he is there. He's one of the ones you're getting emails from if you're a coach, and he's there keeping things running. So thanks for doing that for the community as well.
Thank you for letting me come in. By the way, the second one is halfway done.
Oh, second one is coming. We'll have it for next Christmas, hopefully, maybe.
Yep, it should be out. Hopefully I'll finish it in the next month or so, and then it'll be out next fall.
Awesome stuff. Again, find it on anything, Amazon.com. Anywhere you look for books. Again, he said Barnes & Noble. You can find this book anywhere. The Mystery of the Lost Recipe. Like him on Facebook as well. Jerome, thanks a ton.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Great to meet you, Jerome.
As always, more from Living the Run. We'll talk more health and fitness. We'll tell you what's coming up later in the month. We're coming into Christmas time, New Year. What's on tap for Living the Run in the new year as well? This and more tips and takeaways to conclude the show as we always does. First time for Matt Smith doing a little tips and takeaways. So
can't wait.
Yeah, he's going to have some anxiety during this break. I know. He's coming away.
I'm shaking.
You're listening to Living the Run, ESPN 1280 The Tickets. Stick with us.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Hey everyone, Eric Fiallo here from leftlanesports.com. Are you tired of paying full retail on your favorite outdoor and endurance brands? Well, whether you run, bike, swim, hike, climb, or surf, leftlanesports.com has got you covered. Save 50 to 70% off retail every day on brands like Under Armour, Asics, New Balance, Timex, Hurley, Patagonia, and more. Visit leftlanesports.com and sign up for a free membership. Plus, save on shipping by picking up your order at our headquarters in San Luis Obispo. leftlanesports.com. Gear you need, prices you want, service you deserve.
This is Scott from Arts Cyclery. This year, Arts has the largest selection of kids' bikes on the Central Coast. Let us take the stress out of your holidays by offering a layaway and a convenient purchase bike storage solution, where we store the bike until Santa picks it up for the big day. Grown-ups, we have an awesome selection of bikes and accessories for you too. Come in now until December 24th and spin the wheel of deals and take up to 30% off your purchase. Huge selection, friendly staff, and low prices at Arts Cyclery, 181 Suburban Road, San Luis Obispo.
Hey everybody. Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident, here to speak on behalf of Gardens by Gabriel and my experience. As a landscaper in the county, they are hands down my top pick. They are honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot who adds his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem. His crew is phenomenal. They are so helpful and so hardworking. My front yard is absolutely perfect. So dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
We're back with Living the Run.
The breaks are always good around here, you know. Rex Stevens, Matt Smith, filling in for the Olympian, Paul Tarek. Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, the Olympian, the stuff that comes out of that guy's mouth sometimes is stunning, to say the least.
So I've heard.
Oh, man. The Mystery of the Lost Recipe. I like that book. Thanks again to Jerome Jones for coming in. Good book. Get that book for your kids, Christmas time. Check out the different movement apparatuses and games out there. Taylor Hoyt, thanks for him as well for talking to us. And again, you know, the video game world is one of those ones where, you know, it starts to stress you out a little bit when you start to hear about the games that are selling at the rate that they're selling. Sedentary games that are tending to distort reality a little bit too. And unfortunately, they appear very real, but what they seem to be doing kind of to our brains and our minds may not be as positive as we'd like. So although we're going in a direction that seems to be advanced, technology improving, I'm not sure that the end product is one of those ones that's promoting health in quite the way that we want it.
No. On one hand, you definitely want a little bit more movement and interaction with the games, but you know, you look at things like Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out and selling a trillion copies, and you say, you know, I don't know if I want so much interaction or movement-based stuff in that game. I don't want people running around and you know, doing all of the ridiculous things that occur during that game. So you definitely it's kind of a split road here. You just got to make the right decisions for sure.
Yeah, I think so. You know, as parents, we have to just do those little things at home, you know, and I think it starts very early. We get these kids in the elementary school. They start by first grade, even kindergarten. I think now they're going to start moving them to longer days. Although there is some activity, of course, for these kids, we start to get more sedentary as we start to hit the school age. And so, you know, Jerome runs the Y, and the Y is a great thing. And a lot of kids participate in some of the soccer and the basketball and the hockey and, you know, all these different sports. But that's not for every kid. The reality, though, is that movement is for every kid. You don't need to be playing sports. You don't need to be competitive, but you do need to move. And we've talked about it before on this show. Is one of the things that we often remember, you know, fairly easily for most of us is that we need sleep. We need water. We look at nutrition all the time. We're almost, you know, obsessed with it. We're looking at labels and we're doing all this kind of stuff. We're trying to educate ourselves on nutrition. You know, we go to gyms and, you know, we do some exercise, but we forget that movement part of things is actually a nutrient, and that without movement, it doesn't really matter how much water you're getting, how many of the vitamins and minerals you take, you know, how much sleep you get, that the body doesn't have any chance at all to reach its maximum human potential when it doesn't move. And again, I think for so many people, and it's tough on this show, you know, we've had just a tremendous amount of incredible guests, you know, triathletes at a very, very high level, Ironmans. We got ultra marathoners doing some ridiculously amazing things. We've got Olympians that come on. We've got people setting world records. And this show is tremendous for that because I think hopefully it's inspiring. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about needing to do that. What we're talking about is getting our blood to boil in a way that says it's not stagnant for the day, but that it's moving in a way that we feel and begin to perceive and sense our body, that it's not just in a static motion, that we're alive.
Yeah.
And that things are turned on.
Absolutely. You know, we've kind of pigeonholed the idea of fitness and exercise in our society into, going into an artificially lit gym for an hour, 5 times a week. And the reality is, while that's good stuff and it's great to have people in gyms and moving around, movement needs to be a part of your life all the time. And movement should be a founding factor of your life all the time, no matter what you're doing. So whether it be, whether you're an athlete or just a stay-at-home mom or whatever your lifestyle is, you've got to base it around movement, and that doesn't have to look like going into a gym for 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever. You need to be going outside, getting fresh air, moving around all the time. So.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what you got going. I know you're looking to expand a couple ideas. You got some pillars that you call them pillars. I like that, foundations, if you will, these kind of solid aspects that if you hit all 5 pillars, you really create a probability. And we talk a lot about this on this show is look, all we're trying to do is increase probabilities. We understand that stuff happens.
Yeah.
But there's a very high probability that if you're obese and you can't control your blood sugar, that you're going to have heart disease and cancer. There's a very, very high probability of that. It's not 100%. You smoke a pack a day, there's a very high probability you're going to get emphysema, any kind of one of bronchial disorders, or you're going to get cancer. Right?
Absolutely.
There's also a very high probability that when you go through the 5 pillars, and I want you to go through these things that you're going to try to really focus on, going forward and into 2014. Talk about the 5. There's a really high probability that you're going to maximize your humanism, your human potential. You're going to eliminate the chances for disease and dysfunction, and your quality of life is going to go sky high.
Yeah, some of the stuff that I've been playing around with, like you said, are the 5 pillars. And the first being what we just talked about, movement is a main pillar that should really define our lives. Followed up by that is definitely nutrition. What we fuel our bodies with is incredibly important. Mindset, as well as goal setting, intentional living is a very pivotal thing to being a healthy human being with a fulfilling life. Also, when we start looking at preventative care, we want to think manual therapy and making sure that we're going to the right people to deal with the things that are that just kind of come about from living an active lifestyle. There's always going to be some sort of musculoskeletal or athletic injury, and we want to make sure that we're going to preventative specialists that really know what they're talking about when it comes to the human body, especially when it comes to muscles, ligaments, joints, all that kind of stuff. And then finally, the last pillar is application and community. And so one of the really fundamental things about being a human being is that we have a need for community, as well as application of all these things that we're accumulating, whether we're doing fitness, nutrition, and starting to apply all these things to our lifestyles. We really want to hammer that home by applying it, by going out, setting goals outside of the gym, outside of your nutrition zone or whatever, not making our goals based on body fat or weights lifted or anything like that, but setting goals like I'm going to go on this hike, I'm going to get to this summit, I'm going to meet with this group of friends to go on a run each week, that kind of stuff. That's really what we're going for in the application phase of the 5 pillars. But that's, when it comes to the 5 pillars, this is really essentially what I see to be very pivotal to being a healthy, functioning human being. Making sure that you're balanced in all aspects of life. We get so focused on exercise and nutrition, but we forget about the mindset and the community and making sure that we're taking care of our ailments and our physical injuries regularly, and making sure that we stay balanced in all those areas is a very important thing as we start to look to conquering obesity, diabetes, heart disease, all these chronic issues. We need to make a massive shift in our society in the way that we view true healthcare. And I think that if we start incorporating the 5 pillars, that shift in healthcare is going to happen, and we'll start seeing some drastic changes in years to come.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, man. The 5 pillars are brilliant. We're way too caught up in the Unaffordable Care Act. We're way too caught up in sick care. It's not healthcare, it's sick care. I mean, just be honest. Look at what's going on in this country. It's not a healthcare system, it's a sick care system. It's not an Affordable Care Act, it's unaffordable. We understand that, but here's the key. The key is not tying our insurance to our health. The key is not tying ourselves and labeling ourselves with these disease diagnoses, but rather it's just using some of these basic fundamental pillars to try and bring ourselves to what we had Dr. James Chestnut on. He used the term homeostasis. where your cells are functioning at their highest level. The thing I love that you just talked about was this community. You know, one of the things that made me think today, you know, I had a fellow chiropractor. This guy was a mentor for me. He was actually my muscle anatomy teacher. He's been a chiropractor here for a long time, Dr. Thomas Baxter. Tom Baxter, for those of you who know him and maybe you get treated by him, you're a patient of his, this guy is just a phenomenal human being. Taught muscle anatomy over at Cal Poly for me when I was an undergraduate. But, you know, he just called me today and, you know, just a simple statement said, I'm glad to be a chiropractor with you. I'm glad that we're together. You know, how many people do that in the profession? It's so oftentimes we see people are in our own profession as competitors rather than as community. And I tell you what, you know, what that did for me as a guy in the same community as Dr. Tom Baxter, it's off the charts. It made my day. You know, I wanted to share that with everybody is that here's another guy that just said, hey, I'm glad that we're on a team together. And we run totally different offices, but it's just, he knows, I know, we just share in one common thing, and we're glad to be in the community together. And this is just, you know, just a tremendous mentor to me, and it's a part, I think, of health and the health paradigms that you don't often hear about. And I think you're hitting on a big thing there in community.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, community is so important for us as functioning human beings in society. You know, one of the biggest things for me, I've worked in the healthcare industry for a while and worked with fitness for a long time, and specifically CrossFit. And you've seen that community blow up. And a lot of that is because they really create a sense of community in various different ways. But, you know, when you create a sense of purpose in someone, that purpose kind of draws into a certain responsibility to be healthy. If you have a purpose functioning in a society and you're giving back, you have a responsibility to maintain that. And once you can get somebody feeling that way and really start reinforcing that over and over, you know, that's what we're really trying to get at with the 5 pillars and making sure that community and application is a big part of that is providing that purpose. That's such a huge thing in maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
No question. Appreciate it a ton, man. We do tips and takeaways. Show's about over. Meet with us every week, guys. Wednesday, 6 to 7 o'clock. Always good stuff. Tips and takeaways. Something so the listeners can take home real quick. Little quick piece of advice they can take home in 10 seconds that they can use tomorrow, put into their lifestyle, make their day a healthier day.
You know, I was actually sitting down. I sat down and wrote a bunch of Christmas cards today. It's the first time I've actually handwritten a bunch of Christmas cards, and you know, if there's one point of advice I could give, just go out and do that. That was such a great experience for me. Just writing down some of the feelings that I had towards people and just giving thanks to the people around me. You know, it really allows you to reflect on the year and some of the people in your life. It's an important thing.
Gratitudes go a long way, and I would echo that. I say, hey, find somebody in your own profession in this community and tell them thanks for all the work they do. Great thing. Hey, the CJ Silas show next. She texted me, said Keyshawn Johnson coming on the show. I said, am I supposed to know who that is?
Give me the dead ball.
CJ Silas show next. To my guest, Jerome Jones, Mystery of the Lost Recipe, folks. Buy that book. Thanks to Taylor Hoyt. Matt Smith, ton of fun sitting in with you.
Tons of fun.
Live healthy, folks. Live bold. Come live the run.